Buenos dias. Good morning. Hope everyone had a festive and enjoyable Thanksgiving. This is Jamie Irvin with the E2T Morning Show. Hopefully you are well rested, ready to jump into this market that we are probably going to end up seeing very low volume for. I'll be surprised if we see any volume for today, but hope you are nice and stuffed like the turkey from yesterday. I'm not going to ask y'all what all you ate, but if you want to share what your favorite thing was that you ate on yesterday, I'm always open to hear. Let's get into it. The pre-market, the Dow futures is up 0.29%. S&P futures 0.23% up. Nas futures up 0.25%. US last reported all down. Only the Russell 2K was up negligibly 0.08%. The VIX currently is up 0.36%, 13.95, which if you were trading during COVID, you know 13.95 is nothing in comparison. For Europe, DAX is the only one that is up 0.19%. Everything else is down. All right. The Eurozone inflation exceeded their the ECB target, or they exceeded what their targets were for their numbers. In terms of Asia, it's mostly mixed actually, but it's up. Or I should say it's mixed, but it's mostly up. ASX 200, which is Australia, down 0.10%. Nikkei is down 0.37%. All right, so that's happening over there in Asia. And again, all of our markets are intertwined. So these numbers, while they may not look that significant for us today, we can definitely say America is always looking at those numbers. This morning reported for earnings, it was Frontline and Miniso. I am not familiar, but I thought that Miniso, I better not say that it's a Chinese company because I'm not 100% sure, but I thought it was. But these are the only two things that we're reporting today, which, as you probably guessed, starts winding down our earnings time frame for right now. In terms of the ForexFactory calendar, there was nothing being reported today for today's ForexFactory. So we got a blank, nice gray bar right there to let us know that there's nothing going on. And so that leads us over to investing.com, which usually gives us something. I'll be surprised if they didn't have nothing. There you go. They usually have something. So the only thing they got for us here for investing.com at 4:30, we got the Fed's balance sheet, which is 2 stars. Of course, we'll be out of the market. And then we got the reserve balances with Federal Reserve banks, which is 1 star. So that's at 4:30. Again, we can naturally assume is the wrong word, but do not be surprised if we don't see any type of major volume or anything that we would normally see based on, I'm going to take off this earnings one. Based on, today's feel for the market, for lack of better phrasing. This is SPX. First of all, good morning, Tamar. Good morning, Ward, and good morning, Jermaine. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. This is SPX. This is Thinkorswim that we are using. These red lines are the Mancini numbers that we convert, and I am about to pull those up in a second. The green lines here will be the previous day, or whatever the previous session low and high. And actually I'm on my right now I am on my other machine. So I need to adjust these numbers a little bit. Good morning, Lisa Henry. Thanks for joining us. There you go. All right. So the question was, if y'all had Thanksgiving dinner yesterday, what was your favorite thing? What was your favorite meal? What was your favorite part of the meal that you enjoyed? I'm gonna say candy yams. That's always a favorite for me. Candy yams is pretty good. Right. So we're gonna mark this previous day low, which is 59.84. I'm happy with that. And we'll go right here. Previous day high, 60.20. We're gonna put that in there. And show price on the. All right, previous day high. Lisa liked the dressing. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. The dressing was good too, by the way. We got blessed with the plate. It was the bomb. So here's what we got right now. These are the old Mancini numbers. We're about to pull up what Mancini gave us for this morning. And here's what we got. Day 2 of holiday trading in SPX. Since Wednesday, the plan was clear. 59.87 was support to get long, and it held, let runners work since then. Yesterday, targets were 60.11, 60.16, and both hit. Plan today, 66,008 through 6,011 are support. If it keeps, 60.23, 60.30, 60.48 live. If 6,008 fails, we dip to 6,002, 59.94, right? Therefore, let's put on our chart 6,008, which is not far from where it was from the last session, right? So we got 6,008. He's got 6,008 through 60.11 is support. I'll put that on there. 60.11 support. If anybody has any tickers they'd like looked at, feel free to put those. Good morning, Drew. Feel free to put those in the chat box. Now, if these two keep, then the numbers that we have as live is 60.23. And this is why I pretty much just keep that's the bell. That's why I keep the lines on the chart. And all I got to do is just switch the numbers up and watch the chart during the day. So 60.23, 60.30, and 60.48. These are the ones that are live. So if it goes above, stays above 6,008 through 6,011, there's a chance that they can hit all of these lives. Okay. And then if it fails, so if 6,008 fails, you're going to go 6,002. And then 59.94. Okay. Now, if you notice, just coincidentally, 59.94 is above the previous day's, the previous session low. 59.94 is still above that. All right, it's coincidentally. This is a gap right here. Since this gapped up, I'm just going to mark this gap right here, expecting that it will probably fill at some point today, but acknowledging that it is there. Right. Good morning, Marsha. I got you, Lisa, Henry. No problem. So this is our Mancini numbers support. This is what I'll be watching throughout the day. 59.94 down here, 6,002. If it breaks past if it breaks past 6,008, it could drop to down here. But if it stays above, if it gets above this, it could start heading up into the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. Right, so that would be something to watch. We'll swing back around and look at that again. Then triple Q. If I didn't say good morning, Marsha, good morning, Marsha. We got a 1 day. So here's what we're looking at. Excuse me. Here's what we're looking at for triple Q. Triple Q formed another seller zone, really. The last time we looked at triple Q, we had a seller zone, leg in, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 in the base, leg out. Since then, it came up. It did not go through that zone. It got close and reacted and bounced. That doesn't mean that it won't come back up, but the first thing that I'm noticing for triple Q is all of these strong reactions to buyers sitting in here. See those long wicks? All those long wicks means that this candle used to be a seller candle, and at the end of that day, before the end of that day closing, the buyers pushed it up. So the buyers have been fighting off these sellers pretty strong in this area. So that's the first thing I noticed coming over here. Since this seems to be a new seller zone, I will mark it as such. And I'm putting those dashes on there because it's pretty much in that zone. Because I don't want to take this one out, because I got a feeling that at some point it'll be possibly rising up through there, but leg in, base, leg out is what I see. Price started moving up, turned around, started coming back down. But you definitely have a buyer zone sitting right here, as far as I can tell. And then there's a gap, a buyer's gap. All right, and I'm just going to mark this second buyer zone down here. Because if I don't mark it, I will definitely see it next time I come into a chart. Come to this chart. Oh wow, we got multiple. That means that there's another buyer zone back here somewhere. There it is. All right. Okay, I see it. So on the buyer side, there are outside of this gap, or should I say below this gap, you have a buyer zone here, and then there's another one that's right here. So NASDAQ has plenty of reasons to keep getting pushed up potentially. And the fact that this is the buyer's gap, meaning when it's initially gapped up, the buyers pushed it up. That force, that rush of orders, and when they came back to retest it, it bounced off there again. That or shall I say, it bounced off that gap right there. So The buyers push that up. So who knows what direction this is going because it's early in the market, but why this is doing that is irritating. All this is just moving averages. This green is the 9, the 20, 30, 50. So all the moving averages right now are showing support on the daily chart for triple Q. So for my purposes, I would be I would obviously let the market settle. I don't even worry about getting in until after the first 45 minutes to an hour. But I always start looking to see what the area could be. And this is the 504 is 80% of the money. So that's 12% return on $100 collateral. This is a one spread. So I wouldn't have a problem looking at 504. 504 here. It's about right here. If you're looking at it in terms of the chart, 504 be down here in this range. And if this is a seller zone as we have it marked, a lot of what happens today is going to play out, of course, over the next few hours. So, but I will still see 9 cents. Okay, 10 cents. So $10 collateral, $10 collected on $100 collateral. That's 10% return. So if I was looking at an iron condor on here, that would be $100 collateral and about $20 collected. 20% return on collateral is how I see that. This is trending up pretty nicely, actually. So we got a nice little uptrend going. So yeah, that's what I'll be looking at for triple Q. I don't know if somebody's already in it or not, but let's take a look at I'm going to zoom in on the 15. This is Russell 2000. Let's see here. We marked the first candle. For those who trade the 15-minute breakout strategy, which is marking the first 15-minute candle and waiting for it to break out of that candle and establish a direction. And people will place trades based on that. That is not investment advice coming from us. That's just a strategy that we know that people do utilize. Okay. So obviously there was a gap up this morning here. So we want to acknowledge that. Again, this is Think or Swim, and we are looking at the 15-minute chart for Russell 2000. Just marking the things that are happening around it. This chart is a little bit different in terms. It's the same color scheme in terms of what the colors mean on my chart, but Russell 2000 doesn't have those numbers that we convert from Mancini. So on this one, I try to have marked the points where prices turned around, call them swing points. So this is the swing point. This is the area where if price starts going up, this may be area of resistance. This one right here. This color is for 15-minute. And the orange color is for 4-hour. So this blue one is for monthly. So those stronger time frames let me know that there may be some support or resistance in those areas. So that's what those lines are for, just to keep me informed on what's happening. And if you have a if you have a Mac and a Windows PC, by the way, you can chart on both just fine, but just know that it will ruin your color convention. So no matter what you do on one chart, it will not look the same when you go to log in the other chart on the other type of device. So the lines will stay. I can put all these lines in on the Mac, but when I go log into the Windows PC, the lines will be there, but the colors change on their own. It is extremely annoying, but at least you have the lines there. So the device I'm on right now is the Windows PC, which is what I do most of my trading on. So I don't mind switching these back, but just be aware of that. I don't know how that works if it's a iPad versus what you do on the desktop. I don't know about that part, but I know machine to machine, I do not have the same consistency. Just so you know. All right, it will change quickly. And I'll leave those. I'm not gonna mess with the rest of those. We'll swing back around here. We're gonna look at SPY because I know a lot of people are fans of SPY. You also look at NVIDIA before we get out of here. So as you know, SPY, SPX, they're all based on the S&P 500. And I'm gonna delete these lines because we're at all-time highs. There's no seller zone currently. There's no seller zone that you would be able to find without doing a bunch of extra digging, as far as I'm concerned. I do know that some people will use the Fibonacci retracement lines or Fibonacci extension lines to find their zones. And if somebody was using Fibonacci, assuming I placed these lines correctly, this is about 50% retracement. It is basing at that 50% retracement. This is it's about 61%. And 78% is about where I would think people would, be looking as targets. It would not surprise me if it bases here for the rest of the day, actually. But as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing except sellers stopping it from going up higher. Where I see it. Outside of these areas here, these long candles that we talked about earlier on SPX. These are the same candles just on SPY as opposed to SPX. I don't see no buyer seller battles happening over here, so it'll be interesting to see how long this goes to the side and then whether or not it takes off. But as of right now, that's what's going on with SPY. Yeah, I just don't see a area at the top. I have this as the buyer zone, leg in, base, leg out. But other than that, the top end is suspect for right now on that one. For me, anyway. Right. see what NVIDIA is talking about. NVIDIA has a gap that it's trying to fill right down here. 127 through 128 on your dollar. Has not come down this far yet. Right? That some people would use that as support for NVIDIA. Use that area as a buyer zone that is under the gap. And then there's another gap under that buyer zone. So in other words, this was a gap, a buyer's gap. The buyers pushed this up, right? Kept going. Even though the sellers pushed this down, it still ended up gapping up anyway, and it has not even come down to fill that gap. So this is a lot of area. Look at this right here. Buyers pushing that up right there. So there's a lot of area for buyers down here. So if I'm looking at NVIDIA, I will first be looking at I probably was looking next week, a week out at least. I'll be looking at 80% off the money is what I'll be looking at. So that's 14 cents. So this is a one spread. That's $100 collateral. So collect about $14 on that. So that's about what, 13% return on collateral. Being down here, or something like that. It's not too shabby. That's what you collect, and of course, what you wanted to close, since we're looking at this from a seller's perspective, you want to buy it back for way less than what we got it for. But your return on collateral, try to aim at 10%. So that's what we got for NVIDIA right there. So what we'll do is just swing back around to SPX. Those of you who are interested, we do have our option sellers on membership. Learn, trade, profit the seller's way. We do have a supportive community for trading. Some of our community members are on this stream, as a matter of fact. We have profitable strategies for less screen time, daily profits to grow your account, and trading and support. Educator to Trader, the number 2. Educator to Trader.com is where you can go and get signed up. We love to have you. We have people joining daily, it seems like lately, so that is very awesome. Just a side note for those of you who are interested, I don't know if this is gonna be a link that you can click on, but I will post it anyway. Yeah, I know I'm an IT guy, I'm into software, blah 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 blah. Verify, this is not any type of paid advertisement or nothing like that. But this is just a tool I feel can help traders because I use it. So this is a very good website. It's etfdb.com. They rebranded it to Verify. But when you have an ETF and you want to look at what stocks are being held inside that ETF, this is my go-to place. So usually I just go do a search on it, search the ticker up here. And the main thing I do is just go over here to holdings, and it'll give me like the top 15. And the way I use this is this information is telling me, who's carrying the weight in this particular ETF. Obviously, NVIDIA, everybody knows about NVIDIA. So NVIDIA's got over 6%. Holdings in, this is SOXL. I typed in SOXL because it is a semiconductor ETF. But what I don't hear a lot about is when something happens with Broadcom. I don't hear anybody saying, oh, go check SOXL. If something happens with NVIDIA, people say it, but I don't hear people saying it when something happens with Broadcom, even though Broadcom is almost 6% of the holdings. That carries a lot of weight too. Same thing with AMD. Same thing with Texas Instruments. 4% is quite a bit in this situation. So at any time, if you have an ETF, and we got plenty of ETFs to choose from, of course, but SPY is an ETF, exchange traded fund. If you want to know who is being held in SPY, Apple is more in 7%. NVIDIA is right behind them. Microsoft is right behind them. So a lot of times when people say, oh, something's going on with NVIDIA is bringing down SPY or what have you, it's good to check and see what else is in that list that are strong. Here, your top three is Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Apple, right? So this is just a good way to look and see what is being held in a particular ETF. So VetaFi or ETFDB.com is the place to go for that. So I'm pretty sure they have, paid services, but usually I just use it for this in case anybody is interested. All right. Swing back around and look at what's happened, what we can mark, and then we let you guys go. All right. So our first 15 minutes, this is SPX. These are the Mancini numbers. Okay. Now that this is open, 6,008, 6,011. These were the support areas. This white line is just the top of the first 15-minute candle. This is what we're waiting for it to break through, right? That's what it's trying to get through right here. This is the previous day high that we mentioned earlier, right? So the previous session, this is the high point of that session. This could also act as a point of resistance. And then this up here, 60.23, is one of the areas that Mancini said could be hit if it stays above this area. So on my chart, there was three levels that he had: 60, 23, 30, and 48. So on this chart, that's what I'll be pretty much watching throughout the day to see how it goes. So it is doing its breakout. I will be seeing what happens $3 from now when it hits 60.20. Right. Russell is the other one. And many times I find that Russell will be outside of its 15-minute range before SPX, actually. It has not broken out quite yet. So there is that happening. All right. So let us go to our E2T daily declaration. By faith, I am a successful trader. I'm a wise, knowledgeable trader. I make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolio. Money likes me because money is comfortable around me. It is drawn to me. E2T daily prayer. Lord, give us wisdom and knowledge for our trades today. Help us to make smart and lucrative decisions for our portfolios. Okay, everybody. There may be low volume today, so just be aware of that. Nothing major was reported for earnings, and ForexFactory didn't have anything. Investing.com has something at 4:30, which means Any type of news can become a factor. So, that's something to be aware of. So that being said, again, hope you all enjoyed your Thanksgiving holiday. We will see you on Sunday. I believe we still have our 5 o'clock live stream be happening here. And matter of fact, let me see. I'll make sure we got. So we have our chart and trade. Tomorrow is our chart and trade at 10 o'clock. 5 o'clock on Sunday is our YouTube live. Right here on @educatedtrader.com on YouTube. And those are the next 2 things that we have coming up. All right. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. You want to enjoy the rest of your day, you can tag us on Telegram. And drop a note in the chat box here, the comment box, if you have any questions. All right. You all have a good one. Hasta luego. That's the way we said it. Hasta luego.